back in 1973 when he was commissioned to write the soundtrack for the movie Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid, Sam Peckinpah movie. If you've not seen the film, make a point of watching it, because hearing the song in its original context adds a great deal to your sort of feel for the song. The song's been covered by over 100 people since, most notably Guns N' Roses, whose version was so successful that a lot of people actually think it was them that wrote the song. Now, we're going to start by just learning the chords, and then later on in the lesson we'll go over the strumming pattern and put the whole thing together. First chord is G. There are a few possible fingerings for an open G chord. If you can, go for this one that I've got in the diagram here. It's the most versatile. If you're already hooked on one of the other fingerings, that's also fine. It won't make a great deal of difference. So, first finger on the 5th string at the 2nd fret, second finger on the 6th string, 3rd fret, third finger on the top string at the 3rd fret. That's our G chord. The next chord is D. Notice the little X just above the top of the 6th string there. That's an indication that you shouldn't be sounding that string when you play this chord. So we put our first finger on the 3rd string, 2nd fret, second finger also at the 2nd fret but on the top string, then the 3rd finger comes in on the 2nd string there at the 3rd fret. Then when we strum it basically from this string or this string onwards. But we try and leave that string out. You can hear it doesn't quite fit the chord. Okay, the next chord is A minor. So for A minor, we put our first finger on the 2nd string at the 1st fret, second finger on the 4th string at the 2nd fret, and then the 3rd finger just tucked underneath there on the 3rd string, also at the 2nd fret. Lovely sounding chord. And then we got C. Again, you may see other versions of this chord. But I'm going to suggest using this version for this song. For C, we place our first finger on the 2nd string at the 1st fret, second finger on the 4th string at the 2nd fret, third finger reaching right over here to the 5th string at the 3rd fret. Quite a stretchy chord, C. Some people find it easy to put that finger on first and do it that way around. Both ways are fine. You may find that that's the chord you have most difficulty with in this song, particularly if you're a beginner. When learning a new song, as a relative beginner, it's a good idea just to start by making sure you are familiar with each of the chords in the song. So just spend a few minutes holding the shape down and remembering its name. So that's the G. That one was the D, that one was the A minor, that one was the C, and you might notice things like the similarity between A minor and C, just moving that one finger up, that's the only difference between those two chords. So just spend a few minutes going over that, make sure you've got those under your belt before you move on. If any one chord shape causes you more trouble than the others, it's worth practicing changing to it from each of the other shapes as many times as it takes to make it as easy to play as the others. Now, for most people in this song, that's likely to be the C chord, although if you have fairly large fingers, it may be the D chord. But let's supposing it's a C chord, this is how I would drill that. So I'd hit the C, go to the G, hit the C, go to the D, hit the C, go to the A minor, hit the C, go to the G, and so on, round and round until I can quite easily get back to that C chord from any of the other chords. Just do it randomly. Once that kind of ironed out, then you're right ready to lay into the song. Next, let's put our attention on the chord sequence. Don't worry about timing and strum patterns at this stage. First, we just need to smooth out the changes. So it's an 8-bar sequence, and you'll notice most of the time we're just playing one chord per bar. But look out for the 3rd and 4th bars where we hold the A minor for 2 bars, and also the last 2 bars where likewise we hold the C. So we're just going to play this through literally one hit per bar. So I hold down the G chord, hit it once, then change to the D, change to the A minor, and I hold the A minor, hit it again, back to the G, D, C, and I hold the C again. Then at the end of the sequence you'll see it's got a repeat to take us back to the beginning again. Now let's look at the strumming pattern. Here's one that strikes a nice balance between being easy to play and sounding just right for the song. Notice the diagonal lines under the chord symbols. This pattern is achieved with a mix of downstrokes and upstrokes like this. Down, 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 up, down, up. That's 1 bar. So that's counted as 1, 2, 3 and 4 and. Now, if you're very used to playing the guitar, this won't be a problem at all, you'll just go for it. But if you're learning from the beginning, you may find this approach the easiest when it comes to mastering strumming patterns. Play just 1 bar. And then deliberately stop, and then play it again. Do that half a dozen times, deliberately pausing each time. Once you know you're getting that pattern right inside the bar, then just begin to let it flow together, 1 bar after another, like this. Now notice I haven't even bothered to change chord yet. While you're fixing the strumming pattern, it's best to just hold down 1 chord, or in fact just mute the guitar just by wrapping your hand around it softly, just touching the strings, playing percussion guitar. That's a great way just to focus on the right hand. So once you've got that strumming pattern established, simply superimpose the left hand shapes on that to get your chords. So you get your pattern going, count yourself in, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and G, D, A minor, G, D, C, that's beginning, G, D, A minor, and so on. Now you may find that you won't be able to do that fast to begin with. That doesn't matter. You may find that you haven't quite got the left hand changing quick enough to be able to keep that strum pattern going. If that's the case, just spend more time focusing entirely on the changes. That means forget about the strum pattern, forget about timing, simply go from one change to another and minimise the time in between each change. So that would be like this, that would be like going G, D, A minor, G, D, C, G, D, A minor, G, D, C, round and round until it becomes nice and easy. Then go back to getting the strumming pattern going and putting those chord changes on top of that pattern. Alright, so now I'm going to play out with a full demo of the song, and I'm hoping you'll join me in on this. Play along with me at whatever level you're at with it. If you're just strumming once per bar, that's absolutely fine. And I then look forward to seeing you again in another lesson. Maybe you'd like to try another one of these songs in the easy acoustic guitar section. Okay, let's go for it. After 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and... Mama, take this badge off of me. I can't use it anymore. It's getting dark, too dark to see. Feel I'm knocking on heaven's door. Knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Mama, shoot these guns in the ground. I can't shoot them anymore. That long black cloud is coming down. I feel I'm knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, 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 knocking on heaven's door. Mama, wipe the blood from my face. I'm sick and tired of all these wars. Got a long black feeling, it's so hard to trace. Like I'm knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door.